Today I'm going to show you how you can use GA4's reports and insights to actually get some very valuable reports and insights. Now, it may be that you don't actually get these insights in your own GA4, and if that's the case, I'm going to show you how you can build it to generate exactly the reports and insights that are valuable for you. And in the case that it does give you default insights, what you can get from that. So let's jump in. So what you want to do is you want to go to the very left sidebar, you're going to click on Home, and that's going to take you to basically your GA4 dashboard. And if you scroll to the bottom, you should see insights and recommendations. Now again, your account may not show that, and if that's the case, is number one, it might be too new an account where GA4 hasn't gathered enough data, or it may be an old account which doesn't have enough traffic going through it, in which case, again, GA4 will struggle to give you some insights and recommendations at all, not only relevant insights and recommendations. Now, if these insights and recommendations are useful for you, great. If they're not, you might want to build your own. And how you can do that is all you need to do is jump on and view all insights. If you have recommendations, again, you'll have the ability to customize your recommendations as well. And the difference quickly between a recommendation and an insight is really some level of data which reports on past data and tells you something which may be interesting to you or may not. So for example, I can see users spiked and transactions spiked. A recommendation, on the other hand, is actually an actionable insight. So I don't see any recommendations here, but it may be that 20% of your users came from XYZ audience, and you may want to consider creating that audience to market to later down the line. So it's almost an action rather than an insight that's happened on past data. But let's jump back into insights. And we're going to click on View All Insights. And what this is going to do, it's going to show us all the ones that it's currently reporting on. So there may be a list more than the two that I'm just seeing here. But let's say we want to get other insights other than the default ones. I can click on Manage. And what I'm able to do is actually play with all the different insights available to me. Now, in this particular account, I don't have full admin access because this is the Google Merchant Center. So let's jump to an account where we can play around with everything. So this is an account that we're full admin access to. And what we're going to do, we're going to click on See Suggested Insights. And I'm able to see the default ones that it presents to me. So if there's any anomaly with daily event count, users, views, and conversions, and so on, I may want to add that to my list. And if that's the case, they're all ticked. I can just say Create Selected. And that's going to create 5 basic insights if any of these are met. Now, it may be that I want to have insights on other things that are not necessarily anomalies. And I can do that simply by scrolling to the bottom, and I can create a new insight. And this is where I can create an insight on anything that's interesting or relevant for me. So I can firstly create it based on a certain frequency. So I might want to say if users from the US spike by 20%, let me know. Or I might want to say if people that have purchased product Y double over the last week, let me know. So we can literally customize any insight that we want that's relevant to us based on pretty much any metric or dimension. So the first thing I would play with is the frequency, in which case in which this insight happens, or in which this metric is met. And the second thing, I can play with a specific metric that is met. So as I say, if 30-day users have purchased over X amount, let me know. And how it's customized typically is the default has an anomaly, meaning that don't create percentage, don't create is it over X amount, but rather if it's changed according to the past. And that has some level of relevance, and I'd probably suggest setting up all my metrics based on has anomaly. That allows us to basically get alerted if anything particularly changes, rather than me specifying does anything change by X amount, because it might be that there's an anomaly with purchases from the US. But if I set it and say that alert me that the metric has doubled or revenue has increased by 20%, and that revenue increased by 90%, obviously I won't get alerted. So it's quite valuable to actually leave the anomaly as the default and play with a number of different metrics to play with interesting reports and insights. But that's kind of it. It's pretty simple to set up. It's extremely valuable to set up. And my suggestion is to set up as many insights and alerts as are useful. What people like to do when they start this process, they'll pretty much start with frequency of weekly, and they'll choose every metric there is and it has an anomaly, which is interesting, but then you have information overload, which prevents you actually from doing anything. So my suggestion is choose a few that you know would be actually interesting to you if that event occurs, and start from there and then build up as you go. If there's any questions, please leave so in the comments, and I'll be sure to help. Thanks so much.